Hùng felt his heart tighten when he heard that Hoài Ca had gone missing again. In the span of just 1 week, he had faced too much worry and helplessness. Hoài Ca, the one he had always tried to protect and love, had once again disappeared into the silence, making Hùng feel as though everything was falling apart inside him. Every time Hoài Ca left, the pain hit him harder. The feeling of being abandoned alone and unable to do anything to help made him feel desperate. But this time it was different. Hùng couldn't let Hoài Ca be alone. He couldn't let fear and worry take control of him. His mind was spinning with thousands of thoughts. He swore not to give up, even though the road ahead was full of thorns and dangers. Hùng would do whatever it took to save her, even if it meant sacrificing himself. He couldn't bear the thought of losing her forever. Would Hoài Ca return? Could they overcome these storms and reunite, or would they remain strangers in each other's lives forever? If you believe that true love can conquer all, don't forget to like and subscribe to follow Hùng and Hoài Ca's emotional journey. Hoài Ca, a strong single mother, after filling her empty stomach with palm fruit, still didn't forget to keep some in her basket, preparing for the next wave of hunger. She knew she couldn't rely on anyone other than herself at this moment. The tough days had taught her a profound lesson. If she didn't stand up for herself and fight, she would never escape from this situation. Exhausted, but she didn't allow herself to collapse. Hoài Ca had only one option left: to continue her journey to find a way out of the dense forest, where life and death were only a step apart. When her feet touched a small stream, she felt the cool water flowing over the rocks, bringing with it the gentle breath of nature. The refreshing feeling of the stream made her almost forget the weariness that had clung to her for so long. She couldn't remember the last time she had relaxed and felt free like this. Hoài Ca gently took off her sweat-soaked clothes, allowing her body to relax in the clear water. She sat by the stream, her hands softly splashing the water, as if she wanted to wash away the burdens piling up in her heart. But Hoài Ca couldn't stay long. She remembered that only she could help herself escape from here. She quickly washed her old clothes that had absorbed the smell of sweat, rinsing them in the cold water to cleanse them and feel the refreshing air of the stream. She changed into new clothes, feeling a sense of renewal in her body, though she was still tired and in pain. But she was ready. Hoài Ca took a deep breath, gathered all her strength into her weary legs, and continued walking. The road ahead was still unclear, but she knew that as long as she kept moving forward, no matter how difficult, she would find a way out. The journey was still long and full of hardship, but Hoài Ca was no longer afraid. She had only one goal: to escape from this forest and return to her son. Nothing could stop her steps now, no matter how hard or challenging, for she knew love and hope were the greatest forces that would help her overcome every obstacle. At this point, Ha was exhausted. After spending the entire morning and afternoon searching the vast forest, he still couldn't find a trace of Hoài Ca. Worry hit him like a crashing wave, preventing him from focusing on anything other than her disappearance. Each of his sighs was a reminder of his failure. He could do nothing but follow every small path, searching every corner of the forest, hoping to find her, even if it was just a small clue. But she was nowhere to be found. In his despair, Ha began to comfort himself, believing that maybe Hoài Ca had already found her way back home. She was a strong and resilient woman. She wouldn't easily give up. So Ha decided to turn back and leave the forest, hoping that when he returned home, Hoài Ca would be there safe and sound. But little did he know that while he was trying to find his way out, Hoài Ca was still lost in the dense forest alone with no one around, only the winds and strange sounds as her companions. Ba Be Ha's mother was also filled with worry. The hours passed with no news of Hoài Ca or her son weighing heavily on her heart. She didn't know how long Ha had been searching for Hoài Ca or whether she was safe. All she could do was sit there praying and hoping that God would watch over the girl. The long, endless moments stretched on, and she had no idea how long she had been sitting in her anxiety, each passing second filled with tension and unease. When Ha returned home, he saw his mother sitting in a corner, her eyes red from worry. A sense of fear like never before gripped him. He approached her and, his voice trembling, asked Mom, "Has Hoài Ca come back?" His mother looked up at him, her eyes filled with sadness. "No, I haven't seen her," she answered, her voice shaking. "Did you find her? Why are you back alone?" Ba Be kept reproaching him, and the feeling of loss made her even more fearful. Though anxious, she tried to stay calm and think of a solution. She would call the neighbors and ask for their help to organize a search. "We can't leave her alone in the forest like that," she said. Ha listened to his mother but felt helpless. How could he find Hoài Ca when he didn't know where she was? He remembered someone he could contact, Hùng. After all, Hùng was a police officer and could mobilize a search team. But neither Aya nor his mother knew how to reach him. Just then, Hung's motorbike gradually appeared in the distance, the sound of the engine resonating through the stillness of the afternoon. The bike came to a stop in front of the yard, and Hùng stepped off carrying a carton of milk as he walked into the house. He greeted Ba Be softly, his face showing unmistakable signs of worry, as if something heavy weighed on his heart. Ba Be, seeing Hùng, hurriedly stood up and invited him inside. She sighed deeply, her face clearly etched with concern. "Thank goodness, I was just about to look for you to ask you for a favor." Hùng sat down, his gaze lingering on Ba Be for a moment, before he quietly replied, "I bought milk for Tony and came to visit Hoài Ca." But Ba Be couldn't keep quiet any longer. She tried to sit up straight, but her face betrayed her anxiety. She spoke, "I have something I need to tell you." Hùng sat up straighter, his eyes locking onto hers as he sensed the seriousness of her words. "What's the matter?" he asked, a wave of panic creeping into his voice, his hands gripping the carton of milk tightly. Ha couldn't sit still. He first apologized to Hùng and then spoke up. "Hoài Ca. She went with me into the forest to gather bamboo shoots, but unfortunately, she got lost. She still hasn't returned, and it's almost dark." When Hùng heard this, it was as though he had been struck by lightning. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. He froze, unable to speak, a sense of hopelessness welling up inside him. He had lost Hoài Ca again. Why was this happening? Why was it always him? But Hùng was a resilient man. He knew that in this moment, he couldn't let panic take over. He took a deep breath to steady himself and tried to collect his thoughts. "It's after office hours now. Our only option is to ask the villagers to help search. If we haven't found her by tomorrow, I'll report it to the local authorities to get their help." Ba Be looked at Hùng, her eyes filled with hope. "You're right. I think that's all we can do. We have to find her no matter what." The three of them, Hung Ha and Ba Bei, seemed to have no time to waste. They could not allow themselves to stop. They set off for the village, hoping to find help from the friendly villagers there. Each house they visited brought a new glimmer of hope. The villagers, whether busy or tired, did not hesitate to accept their plea. With each step they took moving from one house to another, it was a relentless effort. The biggest question in their hearts now was, could Hoài Ca return just like she had before? Could they bring her back to her family? Or would she remain lost this time like so many times before? With every passing moment, the weight of their worries grew heavier. Not knowing where the future would lead them, the search did not stop as night began to fall. Would Hung Ha and Ba Bei, with their determination and perseverance, be able to overcome this challenge? Would Hoài Ca come back, or would this separation be the last time they ever met? The answer was still unknown, but one thing was certain: their love and resolve would never fade.
Ba người, Hùng, Hà và Bà Bảy, dường như không có thời gian để lãng phí. Họ không cho phép mình dừng lại. Họ lên đường đến khu dân làng với hy vọng tìm được sự giúp đỡ từ những người dân thân thiện nơi đây. Mỗi ngôi nhà họ ghé qua đều mang đến một hy vọng mới. Từng người dân trong làng, dù bận rộn hay mệt mỏi, đều không ngần ngại mà tiếp nhận lời cầu xin này. Mỗi bước đi của họ từ ngôi nhà này đến ngôi nhà khác đều là những nỗ lực không ngừng. Câu hỏi lớn nhất trong lòng họ lúc này là liệu Hoài Ca có thể quay trở lại như cô đã từng làm trước đây? Liệu họ có thể đưa cô về lại với gia đình, hay lần này cô sẽ mãi mãi lạc mất như bao lần trước? Từng giây phút trôi qua, họ càng cảm thấy nặng nề hơn với những lo lắng không nguôi. Không biết tương lai sẽ đưa họ đến đâu. Cuộc tìm kiếm không kết thúc khi màn đêm buông xuống. Với quyết tâm và sự kiên trì của mình, ba người có thể vượt qua thử thách này. Liệu Hoài Ca sẽ trở về, hay cuộc chia ly này sẽ là lần cuối cùng họ gặp lại nhau? Câu trả lời vẫn chưa có, nhưng một điều chắc chắn rằng tình yêu và sự kiên định của họ sẽ không bao giờ